So, Ishvaro Vikrami Dhanvi Medhavi Vikrama Kramaha. Vikrama, or one who transcends the worldly life. Worldly life is a fabrication of illusion. The Lord is beyond illusion. The Lord controls illusion. The Lord transcends worldly life. V is the king of birds, or Garuda. Krama is a way of movement. Lord Vishnu has Garuda as his vehicle. Garuda is believed to take the Lord quickly anywhere or everywhere. Go to the next one. Krama, or one who is all-pervading. Vishnu means one who is all-pervading. The Lord pervades the universe in the form of awareness. He is present everywhere in the universe. He is present in every object of the universe. He is present in every being of the universe. This apart, he is the one who helps those sincere devotees who are determined to cross this ocean of worldly life, which is nothing but an illusion, by way of removing their illusions progressively. I've always contradicted, or rather questioned myself about this world is an illusion, meaning, are we all living in a dream, is what I've questioned many times to myself when I come across this. It's God's Maya, or illusion, as they say. So is this world that we all experience, is it really a illusion? Is it imagination that something's happening in our brains like we dream when you're asleep? I think it's good to dwell on it. If you also go through that question and really see if everything we perceive, the talk we are having, the persons that we come across, are they all magic, like a dream where characters come and go, but when you wake up everything disappears? Are we all in an eternal dream? Is this all really an illusion? Could be one thing that we could perhaps question and really be thinking that, are we hypnotized to believe everything? But I think over a period we begin to realize that it all depends on the point of view. There's a very profound saying from a philosopher, the Indian philosopher, I think it's from the 300 AD. I will try not to take names all through as I go. We'll only take the saramsha, or the essence of what they have tabled to all of us to enjoy, build over, and gain wisdom through it. So in this whole profound wisdom, he collectively gathers all the Upanishads essence, the Vedic essence, and in the 300 AD, he makes a beautiful statement. I'm unable to recall the Sanskrit one, but it goes as Amritasya Asha Asti. It goes something on those lines. But in essence, it says this human is the one. Again, we are trying to understand the perspective of this illusion. What is this illusion? Is it real or not? That's the question we are attempting to find answers here. So in the human, his summary, it goes as, there is the mortal side, which means we are born, we enjoy life, and we eventually conclude our time is over and we exit the world, so which is the mortal side. And his statement is, he says, I recognized it and I know it, and that's the saramsha of the Veda, the Upanishads, everything. It says there is both the mortal as well as the immortal side of a being. So there is, you as mortal exist, and even the immortal also exists in you, which is beautiful. Now, if you take into the other philosophies or religious belief, it is very different. So the immortal is always somewhere up in the sky, somewhere above. We are all trained to look up and thank God way above. But the Indian thing, it comes with a analogy, if I could talk of, is the potter, the clay, and the pot, right? So you see those as, if it were a different philosophy or religion, it may treat the potter as differently, the god above, the clay that is going to be worked upon, which could be a human form, differently, and the pot, the personality or the characters that it's going to emanate differently. But very beautifully, I think the Indian religion or the philosophy says, no, everything is one. And it gives a very one mantra call, says Ihaiva. It's not somewhere way above, it's right here, right now, around you, with you, inside you, right? That's the only religion that has ever told, no, God exists, that immortalness exists right inside you, nowhere way above. So if you got two points here now, which is the mortal side and the immortal side, and we again, let's remind ourselves, we are trying to find, is this a dream that we are all in? So if you see from the mortal side of it, right, we got two portions of it. So if you see from a mortal standpoint of it, these statements of world being an illusion seems completely absurd. You would question like, hey, I am touching, which means we are in a time space position right now. We have had maybe our own ancestors only we know by name. Some might have seen them, some might have only seen them in pictures, but it means they have passed through time, and here also we are kind of in a block of time. So which means there is a mortal side of it. And you would say, I'm touching, is that false? I'm listening to things, is it really false? So all of these things that you're telling me of my things I can smell, the internet that we are experiencing, the reels that we see, are they all false? Are the people really not existing? What do you mean? So all those seems completely absurd when you look from the mortal aspect of it. But if we change the viewpoint and go into that immortal side, which we have recognized, I think, from our previous conversations, as it is the Atman, you have called it the Brahman, and it also is in us humans, is what we said. And it is said, at least in the earlier mantras, that we are told as Achyuta, which is the pure one, Ananta, which means it's there forever, it's eternity, it has no beginning, no end. It is like a cycle or a circle that has no end, two ends to it. So it is Ananta. And it is also Govinda. Govinda, of course, we have taken as a name of Krishna, but the purists have called as Govinda is that something which is within the senses or the Panchendriyas. We spoke when we talked of that little chariot in which the Kena Upanishads picks it. So then in this viewpoint of this eternity that exists forever, all things else, when you take from that viewing point, you're there eternally, and you will see all these time capsules are coming and going away, right? We have a time capsule because you were great grandfather whose name you know, maybe your grandfather you experienced, but maybe his father you only have a picture on the wall, right? But over eternity, things are passing. But if you change that viewpoint, that you recognize at some point that yes, I am seeing from the immortal side of it, then in that view of eternity, all these things becomes fleeting, which means it comes and goes, which essentially means there's no truth to it. It is an illusion that keeps coming out and going. So that is a way you could call the world as the illusion, and not from a more mortal perspective, but from when you change the perspective, we begin to appreciate and acknowledge, okay, what illusion is all about. Let's take the next one. Anuttamah. To me, this is among the favorites for me among the 1,000 names, but we'll spend more time on this today, so bear with me. Anuttamah, one who cannot be excelled by anyone. Lord Vishnu is omniscient, which means he knows everything. Omnipresent is around, which is what we said, Ihaiva, and omnipotent. So no one else has this capability. He alone creates, sustains, and destroys or consumes that universe. Lord Krishna himself says in the Gita, which is chapter 7, Vignaana Yoga, sloka 7, Mata Parat, I will do this together as well, but essentially it says, "O Arjuna, there is nothing more excellent or superior to me. There is nothing more excellent or superior to me." Arjuna also says in the Visvarupa Sudarshana Yoga, which is also within the Gita, chapter 11, "There is none equal to you in the three worlds. How can there be anyone superior to you, O Lord?" Which means he has experienced the Lord in his eternity, or eternity here being there's nothing above me, is what God claims, but that is in chapter 7. But as he recognizes, he also experiences the Vishwarupa, and then in the whole summary of things, he acknowledges that, "Oh my goodness, I treated you as a friend. I might have pranked you, but you are someone different," is what he calls. This again, fantastic to me, among the favorite in the thousand. But I will tease rest of you, so just bear with me, because it becomes much easy to enjoy this name a little more, the Anuttamah, a little more. So here it says, Lord Krishna himself says in the Gita, at some point, bear with me as I become a little mischievous here. If you look at the Gita, you will hear or come across words that say Sanjaya Uvacha and Dhritarashtra Uvacha, which means Dhritarashtra spoke, or thus he asked. Sanjaya spoke. Arjuna Uvacha, Arjuna said so. At no point you come across in the Gita which says Krishna Uvacha. It is all through Bhagavan Uvacha. Okay, so let's, for a moment at least, bear with me. If it's, we always grew, and suddenly if we need to change it from, oh, it is not Krishna who spoke, it's someone else, it will be difficult. So at least for this moment, just bear with me. It will become more enjoyable as we get to go with the theme that this is Bhagavan Vacha. It's not even Krishna, but it is Bhagavan Vacha. So here the citation is about Vignaana Yoga. Vignaana Yoga is the all-subscribing knowledge. That is how Bhagavan Vacha, or the chapter 7 starts, that I am going to give you a knowledge after which you need not know anything. So it's the all-subscribing knowledge, the knowledge after which nothing is to be known, and it is the full, complete knowledge. So as part of that is where this verse comes, and I thought it's a very profound verse in the very context of the chapter, which is the all-subscribing knowledge as it goes. To me, this is the complete foundation. The whole chapter itself is the complete foundation of quantum physics, or the quantum phenomenon at play. Let's try to see if we could do it together as well. I may not be as good, but we will try. Even if you're muted, try to at least uchar sadhar, pronounce along with me, just so that you feel it as close to your heart as it excites me. To me, I feel like standing up and really feel the whole energy within this sloka of chapter 7. So I'm hopeful that when you recite, you may get it as close as possible to you. It goes as so let's recite, if you can, go along with me, and then we'll try to understand phrases to phrases there. So it goes as Matha. I'll keep pausing so that you could pronounce on your own side, slowly or loudly. Matha parataram, Matha parataram nanyat kinchid asti dhananjaya. Matha parataram nanyat kinchid asti dhananjaya, which essentially means there is nothing superior other than me. The reality, or as we have known, the Brahman, the pure consciousness, which is where I was teasing you, saying, let's not take Krishna, let's take God himself, right? Through me has come everything, right? I am the avatara, or the projection of this persona, of this character, called Krishna in this time play, but in reality I am eternal. Krishna may come in the scene and has gone away from the scene, but I am eternal, and that eternal voice says, knowing me, you need not know anything else. And in this whole chapter, which is where I say it's the quantum physics at play, we talked earlier about the two point of view, right? Which is the illusion around that, where we talked of the mortal side and the immortal side. In this whole chapter, I'll call it the quantum physics chapter of Bhagavad Gita, he talks of saying, I am the Kshetragna, and there is the Kshetra, or the thing of oversight. So Kshetragna is the observer, and Kshetra is what is being observed, what you're seeing. So, which is exactly what the whole quantum physics phenomenon comes into, of the concept of how in the interplay the observer and the observed both influence the dynamics of the system. So, and we also talked of the potter, clay and pot, which essentially the other religions may call it many different things. It says no, it's a unity, and that whole observer, I'm inside you, I'm around you, I'm everywhere. So this is I see as a clear base platform when he says I'm both the Kshetragna and the Kshetra of the whole quantum physics of observed and the observer. So in this unity, that is me, O brave one, there is nothing superior, right? That's the phrase, Mata Parataram Nanyat Kinchid Asti Dhananjaya. O brave one, there is nothing in this unity. When you know this unity of me, there is nothing more for you to know, which means once you know quantum physics, you're a pretty good guy. So now he says this is the superior, right? Nothing more superior. But how do you find it superior? So if such is a superpower, where do I find it? Where do I acquire it? Where do I touch it? And that he puts even more beautifully. Magnanimous line is what I find. And again, we'll try to see if you can recite along and feel it closer to your heart too. Mai, the next line is what I'm reading. Mai sarvam idam protha. Mai sarvam idam protam sutre manigana iva. I'll try to do again, so I'll go slow. I got too excited there. Mai sarvam idam protam sutre manigana iva, which essentially goes as I exist in all this whole universe like a string runs in a garland or a jewelry, right? As a beads. Manigana is money is the beads. So I run everywhere like a thread runs through the beads of a garland. So Anuttamah, the all-encompassing power, which is nothing but the consciousness, the Atman and the Brahman. So this picture and the narrative, I'm trying to go to the next slide, which we'll try to get this much closer. Somehow it emotionally really touched me to understand this better with this picture and the narrative from an astronomer called Sagan, which brought this notion of Sutre Manigana Iva, right? That statement that God himself makes came to me very, very close with this statement the astronomer Carl Sagan had made. And I'm hoping let's take this appreciation of this pale blue dot. That's the statement he has made. This is a picture that was taken about 34 years ago. We are still in the month of February, and this picture also was taken in February, very specifically Valentine's Day 1990, 14th February 1990. This was a picture that was taken by the satellite Voyager 1. It has traveled from Earth. The very purpose of Voyager was to go tell different planets that it was traversing through the solar system and say, I'm here, the planet, I'm here, listen to me, we are a human life, and it also is trying to connect with other human life. But as it's traveled the whole journey, they find there is no life anywhere else. Very confidently, these astronomers agree that no, there is no life. The only life that exists is in planet Earth. So that satellite is made to turn around, and I'll call it a selfie. It takes a selfie and looks at home and sends that picture back. So, and the astronomer looks at the picture, and this is what I'll read it for us to enjoy a little more and appreciate the name Anuttamah. Nothing about that. Look again at the dot. That's here. Well, where is that here? Hopefully, many of you found the dot, but the dot is right there. So look again at the dot. That's here. That's home. That's us. On it, everyone you love, everyone you know, everyone you ever heard of, every human being who ever was, lived out their lives. The aggregate of our joy and our suffering, thousands of confident religions, ideologies, and economic doctrines, every hunter and forager, every hero and a coward, every creator and a destroyer of civilization, every king who ruled over the land, and every peasant who tilled those lands, every young couple in love, every mother and father, hopeful child, inventor, and explorer, every teacher of morals, every corrupt politician, every superstar, every supreme leader, every saint and sinner in the history of our species lived there, on a mote of dust suspended in a sunbeam. So interestingly, a little comment on the side. To me, I find this very bringing it very close to our hearts and the everyday life we live, and how that Anuttamah plays in. But there's a sweet statement in the Shvetashvara Upanishad which says, humanity may roll up space, humanity may roll up space like a piece of leather. Leather, it could be the chamara or the, I think they used to use the deer skin to sit and meditate upon. So let's treat this leather as a mat that they might have used. So humanity may roll up space like a piece of leather, but still, in spite of all that conquest, this is Shvetashvara Upanishad saying, still, in spite of all the conquest, there will be no end of sorrow, no end of sorrow without knowing one's innate divinity.